Sean O'Grady, who's not only the former WBA lightweight champion of the world, but he was also the announcer for the classic, legendary USA Network series, USA Tuesday Night Fights. The Champ, as he was called by Al Albert, who was his co-announcer. This guy is a part of boxing culture, and anybody from the 80s and 90s who was a boxing fan. We really enjoyed this interview. Welcome to The Champ and the Chump.
And who's the chump?
You.
Me. Welcome to our show, people. Oh, there he is.
There he's coming. Hey.
Jeremy.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? You look
Man,
great.
I haven't seen. Oh, thank you. I got these glasses now. I can't see nothing.
I love that, man. That's a good look. Do you really have real glass in them? Are you like Russell Westbrook? He doesn't have any glass in his glasses.
Oh, I got a real glass in these. I use them to read. I'm getting old.
Hey, they got a surgery you can do. I did it on my eyes, and they change your lenses, so you never need glasses.
The
They're
LASIK.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I like LASIK. Yeah.
It's better than LASIK. It's the next level from LASIK. But you got to be a candidate. Dude, they pull out your lens, your natural lens. They put a fake lens in there, and it lasts you 75 years.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
I told the doctor, I said, look, 75 years, go ahead and make me my follow-up appointment now because I don't want to wait in line. 75 years.
Yeah, the normal LASIK was only like, I think, 4 or 5 years, right? Then it would go back in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, with LASIK. But it makes you run faster.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Makes you run faster.
Yeah. Isn't that what they give the horses? LASIK to make them run faster?
I don't know. Do they?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
So what part of America are you in?
I am in the lovely state of Oklahoma.
Which is where you're from, correct?
Yes, I live in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Born and raised?
No, I was born in Texas. I was born in Austin, Texas, because I wanted to be close to my mother.
Mm.
My parents were in the iron and steel business. My father would steel, my mother would iron. And then we got into boxing.
And then,
I mean,
yeah. But
we still.
so
Okay,
you turned pro. Hold on. What? So you guys are frozen? Okay. So you turned pro at 16.
15.
15, I'm sorry. 15?
Hey, Jeremy, when are we doing this podcast?
Right now.
Right now.
Oh my gosh! Right now? Well, I got to watch what I'm saying.
No, say
Okay.
whatever you want.
You don't worry about that.
The FCC is gonna come down on us hard. It's $10,000 if you say a bad word on TV. $10,000.
Really?
All right, don't worry. I got it.
That's a
You
lot.
cuss, I got it.
Wait.
Marco's a rich man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Right.
Wait. Oh well, in that case.
So
in
wait,
that case.
is that true? When you were on USA, if you would curse, would they really fine you?
Yeah, they would. Yeah, they find the network. They wouldn't find me so much, but they find the network. 10,000 cheddar. But look, USA was a family show. I mean, we had very, very few people. Now there were people in the corner that cursed, and we had to apologize for them. But we had so much fun on that show. I'm so flattered that I was able to do that for as long as I did. But I think the worst thing that happened to us, I was thinking about that today. The worst thing, we had a fighter on one time, and we were interviewing him after the fight, and he got hit. Oh, he was such a tough fella. He was so great boxer, tough. At the end of the fight, we interviewed him, and he goes, "Hang on one second," and he Ralph's right there. It's like,
oh my goodness.
It's real. It's real, baby. It is real. It hurts, man. It hurts to get hit. It hurts to get hit. Oh my God. It hurt for weeks, for years, for decades.
But you did
I
it
still feel
because you retired at 24, right?
Oh yeah, I was 24. Yep.
That's the way to
Yeah, but dude, you started boxing at what, 15, 16?
Yeah, I started.
I'm sorry. You turned pro at 16.
What's that?
You turned pro at 15 or 16?
15, yeah, 15. I turned pro 46 years ago last night.
Wow.
My goodness. Wow.
January 1st, 1975. And I was thinking about that this morning when I woke up. I turned professional. I boxed it wasn't Madison Square Garden. It was the fairgrounds in Oakland. And I boxed this named David Times. And I was so proud of myself, man. First round knockout. I 1-0, 1 KO as a professional athlete. A professional.
Yeah.
I was so proud of myself, but I got to thinking about it. Well, I still had to tear down the ring. The fights were over. You know, my parents were in the boxing business. Jeremy, you know this. My parents, all they did was boxing. My dad never had a job. His job was boxing all the time. All boxing all the time. And I was so proud of myself for getting this victory in my very first 15 years old. The guy I fought was 30. He was twice my age.
That's
oh my
crazy.
God.
And
That's
I was so proud of
myself.
myself. Dad, I got to win. Dad, I got a victory. I'm undefeated. It's me. Yeah, that's great. Tear down the ring.
We'll grab that wrench. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. That's the wonderful world of boxing.
So,
Well,
what do you think? So you didn't get your first title shot until you were 73 fights, 73 victories. What do you think?
75th fight, 75.
Took so long with such an excellent record?
Well, there were many things going on during this era. Yeah, there were. First of all, please understand, my father was in the business. He was in the business, and he made sure he was trying not to align my career and ultimately his career with anybody that would not be good for my career. Plus, my parents wanted me to go to school. I spent much of my career in the state of Oklahoma, and the reason for that was so that I could get my schooling in. And I was our boxing business was doing so well here in Oklahoma that why would you go anywhere else?
That makes sense.
Anybody else? But I guess that's basically the answer to your question.
Okay. Yeah.
So out of the 70 KOs that you have, 70 knocks, dude. Yeah, more knockouts than I got fights.
Dude, I was checking out your record today. You shied away from no one. I look at those people on there, and I remember I called maybe 4 of your fights. You wanted to make you wanted to give a good show to everybody, and you were not afraid of anybody. You fought Bert Cooper, you fought Samuel Peter, I don't remember the exact fights that I called, but I remember your style was such that I admired the way you fought, because you didn't fight a stupid fight. You fought where you pecked at the guy. If the guy wanted to fight, if the opponent wanted to fight, you would box him. Then once you, Jeremy, saw the fighter that you were facing, once you saw that he was looking for a way out, or he was looking, he wasn't concentrated, or he wasn't, then you'd flurry on him and the fight would be over. Am I right?
No, you're very, very, very true.
Jeremy,
that was you. I saw you, and you were really untraditional. You weren't like the other heavyweights that just want to trade big blows. You tried to outthink whoever you were fighting. Am I right?
I tried. Sometimes it didn't work.
Yeah, but you didn't shy. But you didn't care who you were fighting. I remember you didn't care who you were fighting.
He was.
So as you watched boxing over all these years, even and coming from a fighter's mind, because obviously you are a fighter, what kind of little nuances did you see in some guys that this guy's gonna win, this guy's gonna, in best prediction is this guy's better than that guy because of X or Y or Z? It's
more than just the fight, Jeremy. It was more about the career, about the fighters that are going to have a long career. And you've seen them, the fighters that are going to have a long career, or those fighters that are going to have a very short career. The last fighter I was involved with as a promoter, I was promoting him, and I could see that he was making exciting fights. He was fun to watch, but he was taking too many shots. I didn't like that. I like it more when a fighter is more astute in that they understand the styles, and they understand when they need to attack or when they need to retreat. And that was the kind of fighter you were. I always liked your style, and I wish I could have been closer to your career, because you were thinking. I see a light bulb above your head whenever you'd fight. That's the kind of fighters I like.
We had Winky Wright on the show and a couple other fighters who were in Jeremy's Olympic team, and you had 70 knockouts as a pro. Jeremy, as an amateur, had something like 300 fights and knocked out maybe 70% of those people. As an amateur, all of these fighters couldn't believe how Jeremy would knock people out. And it's a lot harder as an amateur to knock somebody out because of the bigger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But he was patient. He's patient. I saw you had Montel on. Montel's the greatest. Montel is fantastic. I love Montel. He is so fantastic. But I want to tell you, I'll tell you, that guy, he would fight anybody, and he would outsmart them. His daddy, he learned to box from his father, from his daddy. Boxing is something, Jeremy, you don't learn this from a book. You don't learn this by going to the library. You don't YouTube. That's not how you learn boxing. You learn boxing by your daddy telling you how to maneuver, how to earn, how to look, how to stand, how to punch. That's how you learn it. And Montel is that way. But I want to ask you guys something. Has there ever been a picture of Montel Griffin, a picture of him without a toothpick in his mouth? Come on.
He had it.
He always, am I right? Think about it. He's always got a toothpick in his mouth. How did he box with that toothpick?
Man, I've known Montel. That's my dude. I love him to death. I've known him for 30 years, and he's always had a freaking big toothpick in.
And if he's your friend, man, Montel is your friend forever. And I love Montel. He's always my buddy. I talked to him about the toothpick too. He's always got a toothpick in his mouth. I still see him with still toothpick. So I think it's the same toothpick. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna go with probably is. Hey, what do you think? All those years of doing Tuesday night fights on USA Network, which was like, and it was like watching the news for boxers.
It was like a part of our childhood, of growing up, of our adulthood.
Cool. Thank you. I'm flattered.
But from that, what did you see either grow from boxing or disintegrate from boxing?
What I saw was I saw the arrival of boxing. I saw a period of time where the fights that we did on USA became better. The fighters became better. The fighters became more aware and better prepared. The entire sport improved during that era, and it has improved since that era too. USA went off in 1998, and we had a great run. I had so much fun. I met so many great people. I saw so many great boxers. But during that era, we saw so many wonderful fighters that improved, including Jeremy Williams. And there were so many guys, so many fighters that that I could name that just got improved. They improved. The whole sport improved. Well, since then, I think the sport has continued to improve. It doesn't have the publicity or the promotion that it had during that era, but it still has improved. I went to a boxing match, local boxing match, amateurs, recently in my hometown. And these little kids, I'm telling you, Jeremy, the kids that were little bitty kids were punching like professionals. Amateur card, they were punching like professionals. One of the fighters, one of the young men, probably 12 years old, stepping in post holes as he's going back to his corner. I'm like, oh my gosh, the sport has progressed so very much since you, Jeremy, were a big star. My tenure in boxing, the sport has continued to evolve, and it evolved during the 13 years at USA. So it got better. I am hopeful that whenever the pandemic started, I thought to myself, you know something, if anybody knows how to stay away from colds, it's boxers. Because Jeremy, you know, when you're in training camp, you're away from everybody's your enemy. You don't shake hands with anybody. Shaking hands is the way we get it. Shaking hands is poison for all of us. I'm a businessman now. I have a real estate practice. Everybody wants to shake my hand. That's how you get disease. That's how you get all of the things that all of the evil things you get that anybody's ever had. So maybe with this pandemic, and I thought about it when this first came out, you know, we all got to have the boxer's mantra. And when you and I were boxing, Jeremy, we'd all pound cake. You touch a fist. You don't shake hands. Shake hands is the way you get colds and flus and influenza. You pound, you fist pound, you pump fist everyone.
I think
and for a long time, I've wished that that's what we do instead of shaking hands.
We're doing it now.
Yeah. You're right. We're doing it.
I want to clear when Sean said stepping in post holes. So people who don't know, that's when you're hurt and you're walking back to your corner, and your equilibrium's off, and you're walking sideways. That's what walking in post holes means. Or stepping in post holes.
Yeah, it's changed your depth perception. The only people that would understand that is somebody that got hit and got hurt like that. It's a horrible feeling.
I wanted to say before I forgot about USA, I think what made it so special was that one, they didn't have to be huge name fighters. There would be fighters coming up, but also the matchmaking was exceptional because all the fights, for the most part, were just amazingly entertaining to watch. And I don't know who match made it, but like back then,
I'll tell you who. The guy now is the president of Top Rank Boxing. Brad Jacobs is the guy. He was our producer.
Oh,
so Brad Jacobs is spectacular. You know Brad, Jeremy?
Yes, I do.
An awesome guy. You know, he lives, breathes, dies boxing, and he knows he's an incredible guy, and he promoted all those fights.
It was.
You know what I think was even better about USA Boxing on Tuesday night fights is that it came on every. But it came on every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, rain or shine, Tuesday night fighs.
So much fun.
Honestly, and it was so fun. You can see anybody from fucking Roy
$10,000. Just send it over to my house. $10,000 right there. Bring it up.
I mean, but it's just it gave so much. It gave so much to the fighters, man. Because we come from the amateurs, or they come from the steel mill where they're working during the day, and they can make a name for themselves. They can make a career for themselves.
For me, it got me into boxing. Like it got me into it. That's one of the things that started having me turn into, be an amateur, and be a pro and everything, watching those fights, because the other pay-per-view fights, once every 6 months, once a year, whatever, but that was every Tuesday. And
thank you, Jeremy, you know too how hard it is for a young aspiring fighter to get, have some kind of direction. I get people all the time. I have people ask me, where can I go to start a boxing career? And it's very, very hard. If I live in Oklahoma, if I wanted to play football, well, I did want to play football, and my buddies at school gave me a card of a guy that's doing a football team. So I went and got on the football team. Well, and the way to get to the big leagues in football is you play Pop Warner football like I played. Then you go into high school and you play high school football. hoping that you get noticed from a coach in the college. College gives you a scholarship, and you play 4 years of college football. Then, if you're good enough, you get drafted in the professionals, and you play pro football. Well, boxing is a lot different than that. You know, all the guys in baseball would go like this time of the year, like in January and February. They'd start their baseball careers, and they play baseball, in the spring when the season started. Well, in boxing, during this era, it would be the Golden Gloves era. And Jeremy, that's how you go to start fighting in the Golden Gloves. You work your way up through the amateurs like you did, and you beat all these guys in the amateurs. Then you finally decide to turn pro. But nobody gives you a 4-year scholarship to go boxing. Nobody gives you all the avenues that you get in other sports. I wish there were a way to supplement the boxers who are trying to make a career out of that.
Yeah, well, the boxing the sport of boxing died years ago. The business of boxing is what lives.
Oh, but you're talking about two separate things. The sport of boxing is great. It's so pure. It's so important. The sport of boxing. The business of boxing is horrible. The business of boxing. Okay? It's own worst enemy.
We all get sucked up in it because everybody's looking for a better way. Like most people, you don't see kids in the suburbs becoming fighters.
Yeah,
you're from the hood, whether they're white hoods, black hoods, or Latin hoods. That's what we are.
Right.
We fight to get better. Marco grew up in Hell's Kitchen. Terrible.
Yeah,
right? So he became a fighter. I grew up on the east side. Yeah, right.
That's the way it happens. My gosh, I would have loved to play football. Can you imagine me on a football field? I weigh 130 pounds today. 130 pounds. They'd fold me up and shoot out 130 pounds. I mean, I'd love to play football. Can't do it. I'd love to play. I wish I was a heavyweight. Heavyweights in boxing are first of all, they're strong. They're built right. They're go after. It's the greatest boxing heavyweights get all the attention, but it's not in my
Hey Sean, so I have a question. You mentioned amateurs. Your pro career was obviously started young, long pro career. What was your amateur career like?
I had actually 17 kid fights. My amateur career was very weak because, for many reasons, they had no amateur boxing in Oklahoma at the time. Oh. My parents always would travel to Los Angeles. I used to do my training at our favorite place, Jeremy, the Main Street Gym. Huh? How about that? Shit. All the time. That'd be my place. 318 South Main.
I got beat up there many times.
Oh yeah, I left there with plenty of headaches. But yeah, that's right. I'd go to LA or Vegas. We'd go to Vegas all the time. Train at Johnny Taco's gym. But I went to school in Oklahoma, but my parents checked us out of school all the time. We'd drive to LA and go there and train all the time. So my career was mostly, even as a kid, my career wasn't amateur. My parents were into professional boxing.
Okay.
My parents didn't handle amateur, boxing. They all did. My dad never had a job. My dad never had a job. His job was to go to the gym every day and to go to promote fighting and to manage boxers.
Did he
he managed a lot of boxers in LA.
Did you ever fight?
They had what?
Did your father ever have any fights, amateur or pro?
Who?
Your father.
Your dad.
Oh, yeah. He had 123 fights.
My God.
My dad was an ad tent boxer. My dad was quite a colorful guy. He would box in the ad tent too, and he was a big puncher. He had good knockouts. He had 80 knockouts. But
my God.
He was a boxer. When he came back from World War II, my dad's a veteran too. My dad was a veteran of the fiercest battles in World War II. He was in Guadalcanal. Guadalcanal is such a horrible, horrible experience that the Marines changed the way that they fight battles because of Guadalcanal. My dad was in Peleliu. Peleliu is where they shot the movie Hacksaw Ridge, and it was about Peleliu. And then my dad was in Okinawa and Iwo Jima, where they raised the flag. My dad was in all of those battles, some of the fiercest battles during World War II. And my father came back from the war. What was he going to do? Where was he was trained to.
He was trained to kill.
Go get him. Yeah, he was trained to go get him.
Yeah, sure.
So he comes back to the U.S. and relocates in Austin, Texas, and decides to get into the boxing business, or to go back into the boxing business. My father was an accomplished boxer when he was a little bitty boy, and he got into boxing. So he goes out for the USMC boxing team. He says, and he was an accomplished boxer during that tenure. They get him on the team, and he got some poor fella on there, and my father knocks him out in the first round. Oh, am I boring you? Come on, Jeremy, am I boring you? Jeremy. So my dad stiffs this guy in the first round, and the DI comes over and he goes, "Hey, we'll take the guy on the deck. Get O'Grady out of here. He knows too much."
Oh goodness. Hey, so wow. Okay, so that you fought on a Legends undercard, and I want to ask you about the Ali Holmes.
Oh, yes.
What was that?
Well,
like?
that was we were in separate places. Ali Holmes was fighting in Bahamas, and I was fighting in Glasgow, Scotland.
Oh, you were just on
that was in fact Ali's last fight.
Yeah.
Fight. And Ali's birthday was recently, the 17th, I believe it was.
Yeah, a couple weeks
ago. And Ali's great-grandfather was an Irishman named O'Grady.
What?
Really?
Yes. Look it up. Yeah. That's why he can fight so well. Come on.
So you fought when they were you fought in the era of 15 rounds. Did you fight any 12-round fights or 15?
I only had 15 rounds. I had 10 or 15 rounders.
And
I never fought a 12-rounder.
To put in perspective for people today, how much of a difference would you say those extra 3 rounds are?
It is extraordinary. Then the 13, 14, 15th round is excruciating.
Mm-hmm.
It's excruciating. And I wish we still had 15 rounders, because there's a huge difference between 10 and 15. Between 10 and 12, there's not that big a difference. However, I will say this: if it makes our sport safer and our sport better and healthier, I'm for that. I am for the 12 rounders. Mm-hmm. And that may be the case. That's what the doctors say, and that's what we got to go with. But it just so happened during my tenure in boxing, 15 rounds was the championship rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I remember fighting my first 10, and I was scared to death, not of the fight, but of the 10, because the number just seemed so big, and I didn't want to do 10. I was like, oh my God. And then my first 6, I did 6.
$10,000. That's
That's wild. I did my first 6, I did my first 8, and I did my first 10 and my first 12. I fought them all.
Yeah.
And I think I fought my first 12 on USA, and I stopped again in the 12th round.
Yeah. Who was it against? I love that fight, by the way.
It's a good ass question. Gary Lang.
I remember
Gary Lang.
So Jeremy and I met at Kevin Rooney's stable, and I remember Jeremy fought on the same card as Gary Lane, and we saw him fight after you, and that's when the promoters, Hill Caton, and Steve Black got together and got him as your next opponent.
Yeah, yeah. Gary Lane was tough. Boy, he was tough, man. He was a good boxer too. He's slick. He was slick.
Man, yes, fast hands for his size.
Yeah,
God.
yeah. There's so much more to it than just the fight. The fight is one. It's just one thing. It's one thing. Yeah. It's one element of it. The fight. The fight on national television in front of your contemporaries, in front of your school buddies. Your school buddies. That was the biggest fear I always had. Was my school buddies would see me fail. They would see me go down. They'd see me get hit and knocked out.
Same.
You, Jeremy, you too. Your career. You were so young. You were so young in your career when you boxed. I cannot imagine how you felt about your pals at school, your pals that you grew up with, that would laugh if you got, beat.
Yeah, guaranteed laugh when you get beat.
Oh,
and high five you when you win. Guaranteed.
That hurts.
And then your good friends, they rub it in when you get beat, boy.
Oh, that was the word. That's the word. Facing that.
I would go on trips. I'd fight in Russia and I'd fight in Europe and it'd be on USA Saturday or NBC or CBS, ABC, like when they see me fight, I'm fighting some Russian. They see a Russian guy. They see him, they go, it's Russian. But they don't understand that Russian guy is a Russian soldier who is fighting for his life, not just to get on TV. Like me, I was like,
and they paid him to fight since he was 12 years old. He's paid. That's his job. His job is fighting.
Yeah. And I would be fighting these grown men at like 17.
Yeah.
And 90% of them I beat, but the 10% I didn't beat, those guys were freaking gorillas.
They were beasts.
Man,
hey, I did a World Series of Boxing. Did a World Series of Boxing. Worked for them after Tuesday night fights and after it was at the same time I was working for Fox. But I did the World Series of Boxing. These boxers from Kazakhstan, from Istanbul, from these boxers from around the world, they were freaking meaner than a junkyard dog. I'm like, holy smokes, I don't even know if I'd want to fight those guys. They were so good, and they were so much better than the other crop. That's all they do is fight. They fight, and they're tough. They're hard nosed. They're like no nonsense.
Yeah, my mother's from Bulgaria, so I would go there as a child, and the boxers there, man, exactly.
Great. They're great. They are great. They are great.
They're fighting too, like what Jeremy said, for the country. They have to go to war. All of them. They don't have a choice, and
And you're there. When you're there, they all know you. Everybody knows you, and they know why you're there.
Mm-hmm.
It is in another country. I boxed in another country one time, but I worked for that company that did all these fights worldwide. Wow, there's nothing easy about boxing, and I applaud both of you guys. There is nothing easy about boxing. It is hard. It hurts. It still hurts today. Do you have any residual effects, Jeremy, or anybody have any residual? Yeah, I see them. You're right. Yep, I see them. You're right.
No, not me. I didn't have enough fights, I don't think, to for me. But
my shoulders, I can get hit with a bat in my shoulder and be fine. But you know what I mean? Because from catching and turning.
Yeah.
You know what.
That's one of the strongest parts of your body, your shoulders. But,
So Sean, in the fight against Jim Watt, there was a cut, right? If I remember correctly, which you argued very strongly that was a headbutt, not a punch, right?
Yes. And
they ended up if I remember correctly, you tried to overturn it, or what exactly happened?
I still got the scar from that. right there.
Ooh.
But I don't think there was any question that it was a headbutt. Jim, whenever in the ninth round, I hit him with a hook, and his eye busted open like that, like busted open. His blood got onto me. The blood from his eye. I hit him with that left hook. Well, then he started. After that point, he started trying to headbutt me, and I've learned since then that it's called a. They call that a glass. That's what Scottish people call that. But he was trying to headbutt me, and I kept trying to tell the referee that he was trying to headbutt me, but the referee didn't speak English, so I don't speak French. I don't speak French that well. But whenever he headbutted me, I'll tell you right now, guys, straight up, I felt like hitting the referee right in the nose because he didn't stop him. He didn't see the headbutt. I felt like hitting him right in the nose, but I was afraid I'd break his finger.
Well, how many? So
I was afraid I'd break his finger. Do we need a laugh track on here? Come on, guys.
Oh,
come on. They need a laugh track on here. Come on. I'm trying my best. I've been in those acting classes. Come on.
So question.
I own a comedy club here in Brooklyn. So next time you're in Brooklyn, you come down.
There you go. Yeah, there you
go. So here's a go. Like sitting ringside, being a learned man of the ring. What you like? I like when I sit ringside, I see a whole lot of stuff that the rest of the audience doesn't see.
Yeah.
But you sitting there and having your eyes transfixed on the fight and describing what you see. How much of the stuff did you have to bluff off because of you? It's like the dirty stuff that goes with the good stuff.
Yeah,
I'm a dirty man.
Great point. You've done some broadcasting, so
yeah, but you've done many years.
I know I could ask the same question of you because you've done this too. And you know how it is rather difficult when you see things that you wish you didn't see or you see the things that are not right about the sport. And it's hard not to point those out or not to elaborate on those because it's part of the game. It's part of the game. It is part of the game. Yeah. You're going to get headbutts. You're going to get low blows. You're going to get, pushed and pulled. You're going to get tugged. You're going to get thumbed. You're going to get elbowed. It's just all there is to it. So, and I really want to believe this, and I do believe it, that everybody innately, everybody is good. There's a few times you've got to, you got to play the game. You've got to play the role. If you're the dirty fighter, you got to be the dirty fighter. You got to play the role in order to get the victory. If there were, I feel like there were some times that I got jobbed, but it's the sport. I mean, the sport it's you against the other guy.
Okay,
and,
so
yeah, maybe.
What is the most common between all fighters? Me, you, Marco, everybody, every fighter you see. What is the most common thing somebody does?
Oh, low blow.
Low blow.
Low blow.
Like
all
a
the
proper
time.
low
All the time. Most common, low blow. It's part of the deal. Now the fighters have a foul-proof protector, as you guys know. And the person that invented the foul-proof protector to display the efficacy of the foul-proof protector, which looks like a girdle, he had a fellow in 1920 hit him with a baseball bat right in the vital region. Yeah. Yeah. And you guys thought you hate your job? How would you like to have that job? But, yeah, you got him with a baseball bat to show the efficacy of this foul-proof protector. Now and it works. It works. There's a cup that protects your vitals. Then there's also a bladder protector that is like a girdle that runs across the top of your bladder. Then there's kidney protectors that run across your back. So it's more than just a protection for the vital areas.
Well, let me ask.
But that thing will get saturated with sweat, and it moves around. It gets loose. It's easy to turn it, so the efficacy is reduced. The element is reduced by the time that you have it. But I can tell you right now, unequivocally, that was the most expensive piece of my boxing accoutrement right there, my foul-proof protector. I paid more for that than anything, gear, anything.
I mean, Jeremy, have you ever been hit really low and it hurt?
Me?
Oh, well, both of you, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them. Any boxer out there has. I can tell you right now, if they boxed any time at all, I guarantee you Jeremy's been hit there many, many times.
Many times.
And, yeah, many times.
Some of them you can walk through. Some of them hurt like hell. God.
Oh yeah. That's no fun. But
my foot stepped on.
Yep, you're right.
People tripping you. Yep. You get your foot stepped on. You get pumped your shoulder.
You fought some southpaw. I know, Jeremy. You'd switch around to southpaw sometime, and you had a confusing style too. I'm glad I wasn't a heavyweight because of you, because you would turn southpaw and you would swipe. You'd swipe and you turn your opponent. I remember you well. You had a good style. You had a good style. You were good.
Thank you.
Sean, is there any fighter when you were still fighting that you didn't fight but that you wished you had?
All of them. Anybody. I mean, my plan was to fight everyone in the lightweight division. I tried to go up to welterweight, but I couldn't keep the weight on. I couldn't hold the weight.
So at lightweight is what, 30, 32?
35. And then, but I could fight anybody, and there's maybe 140, 135 to 140 maybe, which was my hope and my dream.
People don't realize that guys like at 35, 40, some of them, man, they can freaking punch, man. They punch hard.
I tell you something. I love the welterweight division is, I think, my favorite division. They got the power of the heavyweights, or maybe the middleweights. The power 60. Of the heavyweights and the speed. I grew up, a lot in LA, and I saw all some of the greatest Mexican fighters ever. And Mexican fighters they're not heavyweights. They're lightweights. Well, now we've got John Ruiz, who's a great heavyweight. But I got
John Ruiz, Puerto Rican.
Oh, yes, you're right. Good point. You're right.
That's my boy. I know him very well.
Okay, that's $10,000. Oh, crud. Okay, so
I'll collect it.
You're right. So I got to watch some of the greatest bantamweights. I got to watch so many great featherweights. So many great Mexican fighters that were spectacular. That's how I learned how to be a boxer. That's how I wanted to be a boxer. I wanted the adulation of the Mexican fans. You know what? My name is Sean O'Grady. I'll never get that. Maybe I need to change my name to Sean O. Garcia.
Chavez.
Chavez. Yeah, Sean Chavez. That's me. I'll never get that, but I always wanted that.
So who did you enjoy watching on Tuesday Night Fights when you were doing, like, there's certain fighters you just like to watch? Maybe they were like a Butterbean, or they were like, somebody else. Who did you really like to fight?
Thank you for that. I was thinking about your style, Jeremy, and it reminds me a little bit of Manomeno Paez. This guy, Jorge Manomeno Paez, was spectacular. He was awesome. The greatest show I've ever had in boxing was at Mexicali at the Bull Rink outside, and it was Manomeno Paez fighting Calvin Grove from Philadelphia. Great, just all the elements were there, and Manomeno Paez was outstanding until they taught him to box. They wanted him to box. He was great when they just like you, Jeremy. Let Jeremy be Jeremy. Let him get in the ring and be Jeremy and do whatever Jeremy wants to do. Monumental Paez, they just left him alone. He did backflips. He played with these great fighters that I'd see him just play with.
Yeah.
He'd talk to the crowd. He'd, come in the dress that's a skirt. I mean, he'd come in, he was just spectacular.
He was great.
He was great. And we had him, first time I saw him on TV was on USA Tuesday Night Fights. And we did a few more of his fights, but he was just fun to watch. He was entertaining.
I didn't know
he was something outside of the normal boxing, where they just get in there and battle. He was fun.
I didn't know they called him the Meadow.
He did the shuffle. He did the, some of that. I've seen him,
really.
Jeremy. You've done.
Not really backflip,
but I've seen you. I did a forward flip and people hit me in the chin.
So, what do you think?
Yeah.
Good question was, like, who did you think should have got a shot but didn't? At any weight, doesn't matter. Should have got a shot but didn't. From what you saw.
Oh boy, that strikes me as a very difficult question, because in the business, if you're you're not blackballed much today as you were in earlier times or earlier eras. Today you can't, it's grown, the business of boxing has grown such that if you've got the audience and you've got the ability and you've got the company, the promotion behind you, you're going to get a shot. You're going to get a shot. Even if you have to create your own shot, you're going to get a shot. So I don't know if I found somebody. I don't know that I could name somebody who, in today's era, that hasn't gotten the shot, the due that they deserve. In fact,
what about in the 90s when you were heavy in boxing?
Yeah. Well, even then, I mean, there was a lot of fighters that we had on that there's a lot of fighters we had on that I think they got the shot. They went as far as they could, as they could go. So, and I think that is something that was an issue in the sport of boxing, maybe in the 60s and the 70s, but I don't think so much today, and I don't think even in the 80s or 90s. There was a time there where you had to sell your career or sell your life to when you wanted a big shot. But I think it's changed. I think times are changing. People are getting more attuned to it. Plus, there's so many different avenues today. Look, all the kids today have this that we didn't have when we were boxing. What I'm talking about is Zoom and Facebook and
Instagram, all that crap. I get it.
All the stuff that as a boxer, and I've got people still that talk to me about career. You are your greatest promoter. You, whoever you are, you boxer. You are your greatest promoter. How do you promote yourself? How do you promote yourself? Well, we're just talking about them, Instagram and all of the social media posts, and do your work. Freaking do your work. Get in the gym and learn your craft. Learn your skill. I'm not telling you guys anything. You guys have learned your skill. But by the way, Jeremy, where are you there? It looks like you're in the where I see the background there. You got.
I'm in the kitchen.
The kitchen.
I'm in my kitchen.
I love it.
My girl is in the other room.
Can I get a bottle of water from you? I need a little water here. What does it say on your shirt? What's that on your shirt right there? Jaws.
It says Jaws. I own a security company.
Yeah.
So I do security in and about Los Angeles.
Yeah, you've always been a hard worker. I've known you for a long time. You've always been an ambitious young man.
Yeah,
security.
well,
Security. You
I
know,
do security for
I
weed.
would say that Jeremy Williams knows how to make something secure. I'll tell you. I've seen him box.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, I have about 40 employees.
Wow, that's
And then,
fantastic.
we do a lot of we do this weed cannabis dispensary security.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the code word for weed.
It's specific.
Yeah.
It's in demand.
Hey, there you go.
Sean, do you talk to?
That's cool. Have you done anything with Mike? Mike's got to grow out there, right? Mike?
Yeah, Mike's got a grow Tyson Ranch.
Yeah. Hey, we got a dispensary. Me and my family.
Do you have one of your?
Yeah. Can you come by and secure our dispensary? We need.
Hell yeah.
Actually, we have some. We have police officers that patrol our place. But that's cool.
Yeah. I have guys work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, armed guards in the dispensary.
Yeah.
Every day.
That's fantastic. Wish you were here, man. I wish you were here.
I wish I was there too, guy. I would take over your store.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of cold here though today.
That's
kind of cold.
like,
what's the weather there?
Looks like rain today in LA. It's super cold. It's like 40, 50.
Yeah, that's super cold. So this is your winter time. The winter.
Yeah. Marco, what you got in New York? 12, 10?
35.
Yikes.
I mean, 35 it is.
I think it's warmer here. I think it's warmer here than it is in New York.
Look. Hey Sean, do you talk to Al Albert at all? Do you guys have a relationship?
Talk to him all the time. Yep, love him. Great guy. Great guy.
Where's he live?
You know Al?
Yeah, I know that. Where's he live?
Yeah, you remember Al, right, Jeremy?
Yes. Where does he live?
He lives in Westchester.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, New York.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah. Great guy. He's one of my best friends. I'm telling you, we always got along very well. Right now, it is 43 degrees in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. 43. You know, you guys get our weather after we're done with it. After the weather's done here, it goes right to New York. Right to New York. Yeah, Al lives in Westchester, and he's a great guy. Still one of my very dear friends, and I still talk to him often. And we laugh about the Tuesday night fights and about how much fun we had with Jeremy. And actually, we did have fun with Jeremy. You know, Jeremy's one of those guys that we could kid with and have fun with and joke with.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those boxers come into those meetings and they're all pissed off. You know, they got to fight, they got to train, they're mad, they're mean, but Jeremy was always like, "Hey, how you guys, man? What's going on?"
See that?
That's him. That's him. He says, "One of these days, I'm going to have a security business in Los Angeles. You watch." And he does.
It's called Jaws, like the big sharks.
Love it. Love it.
Why did do you ever want to go back to live broadcasting, or are you done with it?
You know, that was my 15 minutes of fame, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. I had so much fun meeting people. Jeremy is one of many that I had such a great time. There's a fraternity that I love being a part of. It's called the Flat Nose Fraternity. And it's people like us that have paid our dues and have the flat nose. And I had some of the greatest times, met some of the greatest boxers. There are so many guys that are so focused, and not just in the ring, but other people too. Other people in television that I hung out with. I loved it. I thought that was my calling or my mantra. I thought that was my next step. I had 15 minutes of fame as a boxer, and that was spectacular. Loved it. And then I had 15 minutes of fame as a broadcaster. And many people that I think maybe you guys can give me some insight on this. I think many of the people that were fans of our show didn't even know that I used to be a boxer.
Oh no!
And they were surprised. They were surprised that that I was a boxer.
No, because Al would always refer to you lovingly as the champ. And
Yeah, he was
we
great.
all knew you were a fighter, a former fighter.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's very cool.
But
You
did you all know that he was the WBC lightweight champion of the world?
But
If I keep eating, I'll be light heavyweight soon. But no, I was a lightweight. I was a lightweight champion. Yeah.
But you do have an announcer voice, if that makes, if that, you know what I mean?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
No,
Yeah, thank you. That's very flattering.
yeah.
No, it's very flattering.
Right.
Yeah, it's very flattering. Thank you very much. You know, I need a new agent. I think you're my guy. How about that?
Marco might be the guy. He's Bulgarian. Hey, you know, it was a pleasure speaking to you again. I haven't seen you in years. Hey, much love and respect. Tuesday night fight. I wish they ever came back, man.
You're awesome, bro. Hey, I want to hit you up when I come to LA again. We got to link up, Jeremy. We have too much fun. You know, we do. We have too much fun. We had fun when you were boxing, and we had fun tonight. And then when I get to New York, where are you in New York?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn, yeah.
Right by the Barclay Center.
That's not far. Well, that's not far from Oklahoma. Oh, Brooklyn, Oklahoma. Oh, I thought you meant Brooklyn, Oklahoma. Brooklyn, New York. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that'd be great to get together with you guys one of these days.
Do it.
That's fantastic.
Hey, man,
by the way,
God
thank
bless
you for the
you,
green
friend.
shirt. I saw that, the green shirt on there.
Oh.
Yeah, Jeremy, you got a drink. No, it doesn't say on the front.
It's going to say something you don't expect. Smoking Joe.
Oh, I love that. Oh my God, yes, that is fantastic. You know what? Joe Frazier was my man. Man, Joe Frazier was awesome. Joe, whenever he see me, he go, come here, Sean. Right? I was a little kid when I knew. Come here, ride in the limo with me. Joe was a neat guy. His kids, you can tell a person by their children. And Joe's kids are well educated. Marvis is a preacher, well educated. His daughter Jacqueline's an attorney, well educated. You tell a lot about a person by their children.
Yeah.
And Joe Frazier was, he was a neat guy. Yeah. And that's amazing. You guys are terrific. Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Pleasure talking to you, man.
All right, brother.
See you again. All right.
Let's link up soon. Thanks, bro.
Let's do it.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.